Well, oh my goodness, is all I have to say to you guys right now. I don't know if you've ever seen this movie Dogma before. I had never seen it. I just watched it. I do remember uh, back when it came out, it was controversial because there were Christians saying that this movie was like an abomination, or it was like they were committing it was blasphemous. That's what they said. They said this movie was blasphemous. I do remember that. I remember a little bit of that, but I totally forgot about this movie until just now, until a little bit ago when I seen it in my thread, and I decided to watch just a few seconds of it, a few minutes, and wowzers is all I've got to say. There is some filthy language in there, and there's some pretty foul stuff, but I'll go ahead and spoil it for you. The truth, the message is in this movie, and that's how they hid it. It was hidden in that movie, and I assure you. And I hate to, I know I'm going to get a lot of pushback if I suggest to anyone that they watch this movie, because it does have some foul language. I'm not going to play any of it for you. But okay, Loki is in this movie, and I didn't know that. The character Loki is in that movie. And guess where he's coming from? Wisconsin. Yeah, that's right. Just like in the Loki series that we just went through when he was in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. Just like Thanos back in the day, way back when this channel first started, and I was reading on this channel all about Thanos. Thanos was in Sauk City, Wisconsin, right where I'm from. And guess what? Guess what Loki does in that movie? He him and his buddy, this other guy Bartleby, and Ben Affleck plays Bartleby, and Matt Damon plays Loki. And that movie came out in '99, I think it was. And I promise you, I just watched it just now. I've never seen it before. I never even thought about watching it. I never thought nothing about it. However, Jay and Silent Bob, wait till you get a load of what this movie's about when I tell you this. It's going to blow your mind. I do recall the Jay and Silent Bob movies. I think I seen parts of that. Well, they're in it. And that might have been, I don't know for sure, but that might have been where they got their start. But wait till I tell you who Jay and Silent Bob represent. And I never knew this until I just watched this movie. Anyways, back to Loki, him and his buddy Bartleby are in Wisconsin. They're in the Milwaukee airport, and they're banished there. They're angels, supposedly, and they're banished there out of paradise to Wisconsin by the Most High. And this other angel or something, some other kind of guy, he sends them an article. They read this news article, and they figure out that there's a loophole that they can go through this checkpoint through an archway and get back into paradise. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding one bit. Go watch it. It's going to blow your mind. And Sis Bethany, if you hear this, prepare to have your mind blown. Is all I got to say. I hate to spoil it for you, but I'm worried that you're going to hear the foul language and you won't watch it. But anyways, the main character's name's Bethany, and it ends up that you find out that she's like the great times 12 niece of the Messiah. That she comes from Mary and Joseph, the main character, and her name's Bethany. And she's considered the last Zion. Yes, she is. I assure you. Go watch the movie. It's going to blow your, I swear, it's going to blow your mind. And Jay and Silent Bob, they keep calling before Jay and Silent Bob comes onto the scene, the angel Metatron, his name is on the movie, and it says that he's a seraphim and he's the word of the Most High, and he comes to Bethany in the middle of the night and tells her something that two prophets she'll meet two prophets, and it ends up being Jay and Silent Bob, and they keep calling them the prophets, and nobody knows it, but Bob's the only one, Silent Bob's the only one that can like deal with all these bad angels and stuff. He throws like Loki and the other guy off of the train, and nobody else can like touch him, but for some reason he can. And come to find out, they're the two witnesses. That's what they represent. Jay and Silent Bob. Jay and Silent Bob. I can't figure out why he's named Silent Bob, but I know Jay's name for Jeremiah. When you watch the movie and you think about what I've told you, what we've read from Jeremiah, you'll see that Jay from Jay and Silent Bob represents the book of Jeremiah. Absolutely does. And Silent Bob is Isaiah, but why they named him Silent Bob, I can't figure that out. But I do know that there's something to do with Bob with the Twin Peaks show, and coincidentally, there was an actor that played in this movie that plays in Twin Peaks. But in Twin Peaks, Bob represents, like, I can't remember what it was, but it's something. So, but the whole movie is about getting back into paradise, and Loki comes from Wisconsin, just like in the show Loki, and the reason that is because the words told us, the Most High told us that his spirit, he would cause his spirit to settle in the north, and he's talking about Babylon, and I've proven to you where Babylon is. It's Wisconsin. It's all that area. So all the Great Lakes area and all out in there. So he caused his spirit to settle in the north. And Loki, the reason Loki was used in that movie right there for that part, the name Loki, is because Loki is the villain. He's not the villain. Everyone thinks he's a villain. No one will ever expect Loki to sit down on the throne, and that's what that represents. That's what Loki represents. Loki represents the people who are going to come to and sit down on the throne in Jerusalem are going to be outcast. They're going to be brokenhearted, crushed. That's what Loki represents. The unexpected. The world is not going to expect Loki to sit down, and that's how that story goes, and that's why he's used. And and the best part about it though is they got the information on this loophole that they could go and get back into paradise. And they found the loophole by reading a news article in a magazine. And the whole movie is cryptic, and it's exactly what we've been reading, what we've been talking about. And but look at all the movies and articles and books I've showed you that's talking about the same thing. It's insane. But that's how this whole thing, I guess we've got 4 chapters left. Oops. That's how this whole thing has been hidden from the people. Because I do think I remember like a big uproar, a big people talking about that movie Dogma, and I understand why, but I promise you, it tells you so much truth in there that it'll blow your mind, and it's right on the dial with everything we've been talking about. It's just surrounded by some filthy language, yep, and some stuff normal little, traditional Christians would never sit down to watch. But they'll watch Law and Order and watch people commit adultery on the screen, that doing there, there, and they'll go to church twice on Sunday, and it's in that movie. It's talked about. All this stuff I'm talking about, it's talked about in that movie Dogma. They'll go twice on Sunday and once on Wednesday, these good little Christians, and bless their heart, but they'll go there and listen to blasphemy twice on Sunday, once on Wednesday. They'll listen to people sit and tell straight up bullshit, blaspheme the Most High, and none of it has anything to do with fearing the Most High or loving the Most High or being trustworthy or loyal or faithful. There's no faith taught. But they would burn you at the stake, me at the stake, for recommending that someone watch that movie Dogma. And that's why they're called hypocrites. That's why. And like I said, I'm not encouraging anyone to go watch it, but the truth is in there. I'm encouraging you to read the Word, though, for sure. Get in the Word and understand that there is a loophole. It's the appointed times. It's coming in and coming out. It's actually having faith, childlike faith, and that's talked about in that movie. That the story about Bethany, the main character, she's went to church her whole life, and she's lost her faith at the very beginning. It's like going, she's explaining to her, like her sister or something, how she's lost her faith and she don't believe because she was a Catholic or something like that, and she keeps saying she's been in church her whole life and she knows this and knows that, but by the end of the movie, it lets you, you realize that her and not many people around in the world know anything what the Bible's really saying. They've been sleeping like we all have. We've been sleeping on this word. That's probably why Bob is called Silent Bob. I mean, that's probably something to do with it. But it's because look at all the word's been sitting here, but we ain't had it on our thigh. That's the difference. We've had it on the pulpit and in the back of the pew. And we've taken a verse here, here and there, to use it, to whatever we're talking about, whatever's trending or whatever, whatever agenda we're pushing. But there's no love, there's no faith, there's no fear of the Most High in any of it anymore. So, and the story was, she's the blood, like she was chosen before she was born, like they've been waiting for her, like, to come out, the last Zion, the lady named Bethany. And the movie's crazy. If you've been listening to me and you watch that movie and you can get through that little bit of foul language, there's quite a bit of it in there, I ain't gonna lie, but it ain't nothing I bet you ain't never seen before. There ain't nothing, and there's no nudity really in there. There's nothing that's gonna, burn your eyeballs out of your sockets, for sure. And like I said, it wasn't nothing no worse than I have ever seen. And I'm thankful I watched it. I know that. It's given me chills. Out of all the movies that I've watched and I've showed you guys on here, just think about all the movies, like Seven Splinters in Time, Little Shop of Horrors, the Lord of the Rings, Twin Peaks, all the stuff. That show right there, Dogma, that movie, it was it was more mind blowing than any of the other ones. It's taking the cake, and maybe I'm just seeing it. And I just watched it and just realized it because we're right here at chapter 19 in the Revelations. We got 3 or 4 chapters left. We're right here at the end. And you just seen back on that YouTube screen when I had YouTube pulled up, you just seen that Belarus is getting ready to strike someone. They shot at and they blowed up some Abram tanks today. And we're right there. We're right here at the precipice, y'all. And tell me, if you think you don't have to go anywhere from where you are right now and do anything to make it into the kingdom, tell me, how much faith is that? Where's the faith? How are you exercising your faith? How do you have any faith? If you're not willing to even go and put the Bible on your thigh and roll your sleeves up seriously, for real, and read this to see if what I'm telling you is the truth. Where is your faith? And once you do that, if you don't put the Berean boots, strap them up tight, and get your cane in your hand and start moving your body to Jerusalem, where is the faith if you can't do this? And when you figure that out, when you figure out that there is no faith in that, there's no faith in twice on Sunday and once on Wednesday. There's no faith in Christmas every 25th of December or whatever day it is. There's no faith in none of that. There's no love, there's no fear, there's no faith, there's no respect, there's no esteem for the Most High in none of that. Maybe there was at one time, but here in 2024, there is not. And when you realize that, you realize there's no faith in none of that. What's next? Now what do? Now what happens to someone who has no faith, who couldn't take the time to even put the word on their thigh and let it write the name of the Most High and the name of our city on your forehead? Who alive right now that has no faith? I mean, where are they going? You know where they're headed to. It's destruction. That's where they're headed. So, move it or lose it, sister. There's not much time to waste. The blueprints, it's right here. I got mine on my thigh right now. And it's been cocked and loaded. Now, I do want to say that after that last video I made, and this is usually how it goes every time I make a video and get it put up, I realized that there was a few things after I published the last video, and this is how it happens, like every time reading the word, I realized there was some things I forgot to mention. So there's some tweaking on a few things that we need, that hopefully I can remember, but just keep in mind, I mean, this ain't the end though. Like, even if we're at this point in Revelations in the Word, because we're at, the precipice of everything, we're going to be learning His righteousness. I don't ever want to stop. So, there's things that we have to, retweak and go back in Berean style and revisit, you know what I'm saying? And that's how all this is. But like what I'm understanding in Revelations right now, I couldn't have understood it if we weren't in the time we're in right now. So I know that's why we're here. So hopefully you got your Berean boots on, and we're going to start right here at 19, and I don't know how far we'll make it. We're going to at least get 19, but keep in mind, even when we finish the book, there's always room for improvement on what the Word's telling us, because His understanding is far above ours. And after this, I heard a loud voice of a great crowd in the heaven saying, Hallelujah, deliverance and esteem and respect and power to Yahuwah our mighty Most High, because true and righteous are His judgments, because He has judged the great whore who corrupted the earth with her whoring, and He has avenged on her the blood of His servants shed by her. And a second time they said, Hallelujah. Now, there's one thing that reminds me of something I wanted to talk to you about before. The reason it's saying a second time, because we're told in Jeremiah, Isaiah, that we will return and take joy in our portion, in our inheritance in the land of Yehuda, with our city, our strong city, Jerusalem, a second time. That's why it says a second time. Well, in the last video, we read a part where it says, when the four creatures say, set apart, I can't remember exactly how that went. Maybe it'll come to me later, but that's why he's saying a second time, that they say hallelujah, all esteem, all praise to Yahuwah. A second time. We're going to come back when we realize who the whore is. And this is what anyone who hears it has to realize, along with myself. We all got to realize this, that don't let the amount of my subscribers or the amount of views on these videos deter you from reasoning, getting this word Berean style with me. Don't let it deter you, because there ain't going to be a lot of people watch this. There ain't going to be a lot of subs. There ain't going to be masses tuning into All Esteem. You know why? Because the masses hate All Esteem. They don't want nothing to do with that. The masses are on their way out. So this is for the few and the humble, the set apart. So you're not going to see a lot of people, even people who you probably thought was set apart. You know, people I see skirts getting lifted every day, if you know what I'm saying. You know, it just keeps happening. It's weird. And he has avenged on her the blood of his servants shed by her. Okay, I just read that part. Excuse me. And her smoke rises up forever and ever. Her smoke rises up forever and ever. I used to wonder what that meant. I used to wonder, like, we'll just see in a distance when we're in space, you know. We'll know that, no, look at that smoke over there, Johnny, rising up. Don't ever do what they did. That's not what that means. That means we're going to know what the image of the beast was. All of us who live, we'll never forget what it means to leave the place he placed his name and celebrate anything, anywhere, at any time other than him. We're going to know. So it's going to go up forever and ever. And the 24 elders and the 4 living creatures fell down and worshiped the Most High, who sat on the throne, saying, "It is, hallelujah." And a voice came from, and if you ever wonder why I don't say that word amen, because I've seen too much proof that it has to do with the Egyptian god Amun-Ra. And I don't, that's how much esteem I give the Most High. That's how much fear I have of him. I don't want, you know, it's like that son, you know, that knows that his dad loves him, but at any time he could get the backhand if he gets too out of line with it. You know, that's how I am. That's how I feel with Abba Yahuwah. And I know that's a little weird for most, but that's just how it is. I don't want to upset him in any way if I don't have to. I don't want to. Reading this word, if that word right there, if the evidence I've seen overwhelmingly says that has to do with an Egyptian god named Amun-Ra, then I'm not going to say it, because the Most High he never said anywhere in his word that I have to say that word. So I just skip it. It might sound petty or stupid to some or to most, but, you know, I don't know what to tell you. And a voice came from the throne saying, "Praise our mighty Most High." Wonder what that could be. "All you his servants and those who fear him, both small and great. Hallelujah. Thanks, Abba. And I heard as the voice of a great crowd, as the sound of many waters, and as the sound of mighty thunder, saying, Hallelujah, for Yahuwah El Shaddai reigns." Just real quick, for anyone who hasn't been paying attention, the thunders is a code word the Most High uses, and it's code for him whistling from the throne his word, like found in Isaiah and Jeremiah and other places, about you coming back to the throne. And that's what you have to do. That's what everyone, and it ain't about you have to. You don't have to. You don't have to come home. No, you can go with everybody else, with the Joneses. But he tells us they're going to destruction. The family who wants to live, they come back to the house. So you don't have to show up. But those thunders, that's telling you, if you want to live, this is what you got to do. And it's the most beautiful, it's paradise. It's the pleasant place. It's that song of songs. There ain't never been a song that can compare, if I can get it out of my mouth, that can compare to this song of the Lamb and of Moses, the renewed song. It's on a league all of its own. This is our return, our deliverance. We're reading it. And for those of you who don't know, Shaddai, it says El Shaddai. Shaddai means the mountaintops. The mountaintops. And he keeps saying that over and over again. It's not, like a bumper sticker type deal. He's telling you he's a mountain man. I always knew there was a reason that my favorite movie was Jeremiah Johnson. I knew my whole life. That's been my favorite movie since I was a little kid. And I always knew, man, there's something about that movie. And I've got so much grief and people, give me shit about watching that movie. But Abba's he's a mountain man, He's Yahuwah El Shaddai of the mountaintops. He reigns. Let us be glad and rejoice and give him praise, for the marriage of the Lamb has, and his wife prepared herself. Let us be glad. We should be rejoicing right now, okay? This is how you can tell. You know that verse, I think it's in Malachi maybe, where the Most High says, in that day you will see the difference between someone who fears the Most High and who don't, who serves him and who does not. Right now, the skirt is getting lifted on everybody. The marriage of the Lamb, I've laid out, just think about, honestly, if each nugget of monumental life or death, vital, your salvation information that I've give, if each nugget that I've give, if it was a bullet, from the time I've started, it would be like an unlimited amount of ammo coming out, an Uzi at you, plumb full of guaranteed confirmation. I'm talking about stuff that leaves you without a doubt what the message is. And I know that the attention span is short, and most people got to be entertained, and my voice don't do it for them, whatever. I know that. But like I said, this ain't for the many, this is for the few. And you're going to have to get through it or read it yourself or whatever. But this message, you ain't going to, this ain't me. This is the message. You can't argue with the message. You should be sharing this message too. But we all need to be rejoicing that the marriage of the Lamb has come and his wife prepared herself. Prepared herself. We have to come down the aisle, You got to go to the I wouldn't say the church, but you got to go to where the wedding is, to the wedding, You got to show up and come down the aisle. See, that's what most people aren't doing either. They're saying, yeah, we're being raptured. We're the 5 wise virgins, and we're the bride of Christ. But in reality, they don't even want to come to the wedding day. They're remember that old country song, Get Me to the Church on Old Mill Road or whatever, that old country song. It's like, no, take me in the opposite direction. I don't want to get married. That's what's happening right now. Everybody, it pisses people off. They laugh about it. Why? They watch their beautiful image of the beast, the abomination that lays waste over there, just done turned into. I mean, it's gone. It's like a Scooby. Like I've been saying, it's like a Scooby Doo episode. They already took the mask off. You can't keep saying that is Yasharal, Yerushalayim. You can't. Yes, there's been good-hearted people. Speaking of which, Stephen Banoon on Israeli News Live. I love that guy, my brother. I've been at odds with him a few times over a few things, but I mean, it is what it is. But he's on it right now. He's been making videos. I shared a couple of them, I think, or at least one, where he has this ex-Navy SEAL, I think he was. I don't know for sure exactly, but if that's what he was, I think he was a Navy SEAL. But he shares his testimony about being on, I think it was the USS Truman, maybe? I don't know. Don't quote me on names. I'm horrible on those names. But in 1967, what a coincidence, and I never knew this until I just watched Stephen Banoon, Israeli News Live's video, that in 1967, they called in a big ship, like not a destroyer, I think it was, or some kind of big naval ship of ours from the west coast of Africa up through the Mediterranean. They said it was an emergency. And I think they thought, I'll have to watch it again, but I think they thought Egypt and Israel was going to go to war or something. Well, what it was they brought them up there and Israel attacked them. It's all been proven. It's a proven fact. They bombed them and killed I don't know how many of them so they could say that it was someone else. I would say Egypt, because they were going to go bomb Egypt right after that and say that Egypt took out in order to drag America into a war with Egypt in the Middle East. And what I think that was, and you should really go watch that video and you'll see what I think that was those Chaldeans, the congregation of Satan. They wanted to jump the gun. They were trying to get this ball rolling back then in 1967, and ain't it odd that it happened in that year? Because 6 times 7 is 42. Look at all the 42 stuff and all the 67 stuff we've seen, and 76. And it all matches up with 24. That's what you got to remember. When you see the 67 and the 76, it's really talking about 24 and 42 months. All that. So, but anyways, they jumped the gun is what happened, and see, the flying scroll hadn't landed. And then for you, any of you who don't know what I'm talking about there, on just like that movie Dogma, Loki in Wisconsin gets an article. He reads an article that shows him the loophole. On October 6th, I found a news article that showed me the sign of the flying scroll. And I don't know, but it seems like, I'm not saying I know this for sure, but I'd go out on this limb. I might be the only human being, I might be the only normal person that saw it. I've tried to show other people, and it's like it don't even compute. But on the 6th, I showed that article on a video titled, "Can I Get a Yes Please?" And the surrounding videos are huge. Huge. Is it going to just tickle your ear and you're going to love every second of everything you hear? No. Is it professional? No. I'm just a hammer swinging, blacktop laying kind of lumberjack kind of guy. I'm not, I got a GED, okay? I'm not someone who can make professional videos. I can't. So don't expect to get that when you come here. I do jazz them up, with a little of my flavor once in a while, just because I like to play and joke and have a good time, yes. And I might be just feeling a little moody one day, and I might do something like that. That's how it is. But you're not going to get nothing like you're not going to get what you see on TikTok and YouTube. from everyone else right here on this channel. But you will get us the message that everyone needs to hear. You're going to get all esteem. You're going to get the lamb. What would the lamb do? You're going to get that for sure. And like I said, we've been seeing the whole thing. We've been right on the pitcher's mound watching Abba throw fastballs. And the world down there at the other end ain't got a clue what's coming. They have no idea what's coming. They're at the catcher's mound. They're standing down there with the catcher's mitt. They're just taking it as it, taking it. And they got no idea what's going on. But the flying scroll landed, the sign of the flying scroll, and there's been men and people waiting for that to happen. And I've proven it right after. Look, I didn't show you because I was just learning about it on the 6th. And you'll see that in my video. I was just finding that out. I seen that article from the day before. And I think, or it might have been that day. It was either, I think it was on the 5th, and on the 6th is when I made that video. I know that video for sure is on the 6th, and that's when I show you. That's when I found it. And the videos after that, I kept digging, because that's what you got to do. And I found out all kinds of stuff about that Siegfried Sassoon and the other guy, his partner, that had the sign of the flying scroll imprint and the flying fame. And I went and read their poems, and it'll blow your mind. It's all about this stuff. All that. I found so much stuff. Tons of it. Like I said, it would be if each little nugget of valuable truth that you and me need in order to be delivered. And it's unheard of. People ain't never heard of it before. If each little nugget was a shell, a bullet, it would be like me sitting here with just a whole box coming, one of those link fed guns, just a whole box, just lit your ass up. I've done lit this channel and my backup channel and Facebook up with nuggets that are and just like the Most High said, he said his spirit would rest there, and he would do this to someone that the world will not expect. And go look at 2nd Esdras. He tells you, he's clear as a bell, and Enoch, both of them are. It talks about this man that would come from the north, from the land of Babylon, and the people will not want to hear nothing he has to say. But I'm guessing that there will be, and that I'm guessing that it's whoever's been hearing me, it's just as much a responsibility on y'all as it is me to get this message out there. And I'm not telling you to like, share, and subscribe. I'm not going to say that. I don't care about none of that. I don't want no money. I ain't putting no PayPal on here or nothing like that. This is for what I'm talking about. And if you hear this and you see this truth, don't run from it and hide from it, unless you want to die and others to die. And if you don't, and if you see that there's truth in it, but I've been on the fence plenty of times. There was plenty of times I seen lots of truth, and then I would be like, no, man, this can't be happening. But it is. It's happening. And it's happening. Don't hide from it. Don't run, and don't go looking for little excuses so you can say, yeah, this guy's crazy. Look, no, this is the truth. Go, and if you don't believe me, go to Isaiah chapter 1, verse 1, and start reading. And when you finish Isaiah and Ezekiel and Jeremiah, come back and talk to me. And if you can read the rest of them, Job, Amos, all of them, come back and talk to me. You'll be back talking. If you go do that, you'll be back talking to me, I guarantee you. Not because I'm nothing special, but because there ain't nobody else talking about this. This is our deliverance. This is how it's going down. This is the start of it. And just think about how it would have to be to start this. It would have to be like this. It wouldn't be that he said it's not going to be like back. We will come out of Babylon and Egypt and all from the four corners of the earth. He told us that. We're going to come home literally just like they did back in the Exodus. But the difference is they were together in one spot, and there were people who probably they wanted to go back for cucumbers and watermelons. They went out and worshiped the golden calf, which is in that movie too. And you know what I mean? This time it's going to be people who would army crawl under barbed wire in the pouring down rain from Alaska to get here, or from Brazil if they had to get here, because that's how much they love the Most High. That's how trustworthy they are. And if you get to that point where you would army crawl, you don't worry about it. You're going to be whisked away. That's why it's called in the twinkling of an eye. You'll be coddled and you'll be carried, lofted, like just nicely whisked right out here to your home. And would have to start this way. It ain't like when you get here, me or whoever else is here, we already got all the appointed time set up and everything. No, this is a transition. I don't know about all that stuff. I mean, I'm learning and I want to learn. I'm eager to learn about the appointed times, and I know the gist of them, but I want to have it down pat. I want to get this thing right. So if you do see this and you do see you got to be trustworthy and you are willing to army crawl and you get here, it's just as much your job as it is mine. I mean, to get this baby going. You see what I'm saying? And it ain't like, it's not like, don't let anyone tell you that, you know, because there's a lot of anti-Israel people right now, and rightly so. But don't let anyone tell you, well, you're just wanting to go start another, you know, over there, Zionism over there. No, we're not coming to butcher nobody. We're not coming to make the money, the cars, or the clothes like they did. That's the whole point of them being there, to command those waterways. It's a toll booth and an expensive one. Very expensive. And that's what they know. And it's a threshing. It was the lie that suckered the world. So I mean, they killed multiple birds with one stone by what they did to the Balfour Declaration, all that stuff. The Most High did it, though, ultimately, to separate the real from the fake. But you're gonna, what faith would be produced? And I've asked this question so many times. Where is the faith in the rapture? Where's the faith in, we don't have to do that right now? Where is the faith in, he don't care if you call him? Does it really matter? I remember when, and man, if you could see all the stuff the Most High showed me and what I've went through to get to this, you'd be right here sharing this news with me. But when I was in Illinois, I was doing some work, and I've told this story before. I was doing some work in a yard in a nice little neighborhood, and these two young men, who I thought was Jehovah's Witnesses, came walking past me. And I was like, oh, JWs, huh? You know, just messing with them. They were younger. And they said, no, we're Mormons. And we got talking, and I got talking to them and stuff, and they said, well, here, take my number or whatever and give us a call. We want to keep talking to you. Well, I felt like I should, and they invited me out to their big church. And me and Blake would go out there, and Blake would go play basketball. I went there twice, I think, 2 or 3 times, and Blake played basketball in their gym. Why two of them took me in this library room and sat me down and tried to do their thing on me. And it didn't work, needless to say. But that was when I found out that they thought that Jesus is going to set his throne up here in Utah. I had no idea. And you know how I found that out? When I told them that. I said, man, I know something, and I was just learning. I said, I know something that's so crazy, and I'm still a baby, but I was really a baby back then because I couldn't wait to tell them, you know. I was like, wait, I wanted to tell everybody. I said, I know this like secret or whatever. I said, the real land is in America, and the Messiah is gonna, he's gonna set up out here. And I didn't know that about Mormons. I didn't know nothing about them except for the whole multiple wife deal. That was all I thought and knew about them. I didn't know they were in Utah or nothing. I didn't know that. I promise you I didn't. And, well, they noticed I was avoiding calling the Most High, Lord, and calling the Messiah Jesus and stuff. And they asked me about it. This one did. And the one young brother, he was real nice, and I think he understood what I was talking about, and I still kind of keep in contact with him. But the one that was like supervising him, he asked me, he said, I noticed you don't say that. And I was like, yeah. And he's like, why is that? And I told him, and he's like, but does it matter? I said, his name is Yahuwah. There was no J. I was telling him all this stuff. And he said, but does it matter? And I said, well, it should. I said, I mean, he's our creator. He's who we worship, right? He's who we bow to, who we're supposed to fear. And if you're calling him a name, it would be like your wife cheating on you and calling you his name, the guy she cheated on you with. And just keep doing it, and when you get mad about it and say something about it, her saying, "But does it matter? Why would that matter?" It's so just like that movie explains. The people today, they got no faith. They'll tell you they do. They'll kill you because you tell them, you could prove to them that they don't. If they're looking at me asking me, "Does it matter?" Right now at this point in time, I'm gonna say, "Sir, hate to break it to you, but you ain't got a lick of faith." If you're asking me that question, if it matters, what we call the Most High, and we're sitting here in a church and you're supposed to be preaching to me and like changing my life or something, what the heck, dude? There's no love, no fear, no nothing, nowhere for the Most High. So, and look, man, there's so much to look at. I mean, it's unbelievable. Like the whole reason the Mormons are here, there's a reason that they're here. It was a cushion. I've talked about that before. It's a hedge of protection that the Most High placed here for us. Trust me, it is. And I can, if you have any questions, we'll try to go back over it and talk about it. I'll try to revisit every point that we've discovered about it, about how it says in the end that the leaders of Yehuda will say that the inhabitants of Jerusalem are a strength to them in the latter days. So this is what you have to understand. The people that run Utah, the governor and pretty much all the officials, senators, all them, they're all Mormons. And all the Mormons believe, that's why they're here, that the Messiah is going to set his throne down here, right here. They believe that, millions of them. This is their headquarters. And I didn't know that till I got here. Go figure. And I am epic. I'll always remind you of that too. Don't forget of how epic I am. But when they came here, and because they knew that, and they crawled, basically, army crawled to get here. About died, a lot of them did die, got a bunch of stuff. Man, the story is unbelievable. And I ain't saying I believe all of it, but I'm just saying, like, if you just look at what actually happened, what they did, you'll know. So when it says that they will say the inhabitants of Jerusalem are a strength to them, okay, the inhabitants of Jerusalem are a strength. They're the children of the Most High. They're those 144,000 that'll be standing on Mount Zion. They're those who mourn and grieve over the appointed times. They are those who are going to rule and reign. So they're going to be a strength. So These guys, these Mormons, they know that the Messiah, that the throne's coming down here. Now, I don't know how they picture it, if they picture like a city landing here or something. I don't know how, because I ain't talked to them about that. But they worship Babylon just like the rest of them do. They still do Christmas and Easter, as far as I know. I'm pretty sure that's what they do. But just imagine that we're being attacked on both coasts and everything, and we get bombed and all this stuff's going on here, earthquakes, whatever. Who knows what's going to happen? But just say that goes down. And people who fear truly. Now, I'm not talking about none of these jokers. I'm talking about people who truly fear the Most High and love Him, and they're trustworthy, and they return. They follow the Lamb, truly. Those people will come back, and we got a lot in common with these Mormons, huh? Because we're going to say, yeah, we know where He is coming here. It might not be going down like you thought it was, but this is how it is. And when they witness the Most High's hand on you, and they see that, when they see who you are and why you're there, they might even know. They might even been waiting for another group of people to come here, His children. I don't know. But they'll protect you, because that's all they think about. Name me another state or a place in the world like that. There is no other place. Name me another place that's called Zion that does that, that's like that, where the majority of the population are waiting for the Messiah, the Most High, to set their throne down here. You see, so they'll say they're strength to us. Don't let nobody jack with them. I already know that's what's going to happen. And that wouldn't happen nowhere else. So, and like I said, man, I got so much proof. You better come with multiple bibs, because you're going to need them. And his wife prepared herself. That's how you prepare yourself. You got to come down the aisle. You got to come to the wedding, come down the aisle, and want it. You can't be doubting like a lot of these, I bet every woman damn near nowadays that gets married probably doubting, or the husband or whatever. This is a marriage between two completely committed individuals. The Word, the Lamb, is completely committed. It's here. The everlasting foundations is right here. All you got to do is come in and come out and be with the Most High. So if you come here and you come looking and seeking that, you've prepared yourself. If you don't, you didn't. And if you're going to argue with me and say that you don't have to come and you have prepared yourself, you have prepared yourself, well, go ahead and tell us how you have prepared yourself. Let us know. And then we'll line it up with the Word. We'll hold it up next to the Word, and you can just take it up with the Word, because it judges. I don't judge you. The Word does. So back to it. And to her it was given to be dressed in fine linen. See, the fine linen is righteousness. To her it was given to be dressed in fine linen. But remember back in the previous chapters, when it's talking about the image of the beast, it says she was adorned in fine linen. So you know what vision I see when I think about that? I think about them adorning this fake city, kind of like people do at Christmas time. They adorn their house with all the tinsel and stuff and their Christmas trees to make it look real nice, like putting lipstick on a pig's behind. You know what I mean? That's what they did with the image of the beast. They adorned her with fine linen. They said, this is the righteousness. And I understand that we did come from that. We were born out of that, yeah. And there were good people in it. There's lots of people that's been lied that didn't know any better. Yes, probably. Who am I to know? But there's a lot that we gained, that we plucked from there. He's told us that if we take the priceless from the worthless, we'll be ambassadors for Him. So we know that we have taken good things from our childhood, from our upbringing. I'm not throwing everything we've went through away in our past and who we are and where we come from. I'm not doing that. I'm doing that. I'm pulling it into low, and I'm punching it I punched it, actually. I didn't. I went the speed limit. I went 75 all the way here. But to her, to the bride, not the impostor, it was given to her to be dressed in fine linen, clean and bright. See, not that cheap knockoff, that fake Louis stuff that we've been given. No, the real deal Holyfield here. For the fine linen is the righteousnesses, see, of the set apart ones. And whoever wants to, I don't want to argue with you, but whoever wants to say that you don't have to come in and out, like not coming in and out is righteous, whoever says that, you're dead wrong, and you better get back in the lab right now and figure this thing out, because it's unrighteousness, it's pride, it's the lack of humility to deny coming to the place the Most High is wanting you to come. It's no different if your dad wants you to come visit him at his house. If you can't go see him, do you love your dad? And people, oh, they laugh about this, like, because they don't believe the Most High exists. They don't see him as their Abba. That's the difference, you see? And if you wonder, I know the world thinks this is crazy, but what's crazy? Having a childlike faith and actually believing so much that you can tell, or denying it and acting like none of this is ever going to happen, But you're still going around telling everybody that we're in the end times and that you're a believer and that you're the body of Christ and blah, blah, blah. Do you see how the world, the enemy, has hoodwinked the masses? And he said to me, right, blessed are those who have been called to the marriage supper of the Lamb. You know who you are. You've been called, you've been blessed. And I don't know, I mean, are we going to see if they get a chance to back out of that? I mean, they're called, blessed are those who are called to the marriage supper of the Lamb, but does it say that all the called show up and make it? I don't know, just a thought. And he said to me, these are the true words of the Most High. And I fell at his feet to worship him, but he said to me, see, do not do it. I am your fellow servant and of your brothers, who possesses the witness, who possess the witness of Yahusha. Worship the mighty Most High, for the witness of Yahusha is the spirit of prophecy. The spirit of prophecy. Now we got to break this down a little bit. There's so much to unpack here. This tells you pretty much everything you need to know. When all them times when we've read back in the prior chapters and other places where it says, and they were killed, they possessed the spirit, the witness, they possessed the witness of Yahusha. It says that multiple times. And most people think that that's like him above them hovering, and they're allowed to do certain supernatural, superhuman stuff or something. Or they pray for people and heal people or whatever. But the spirit of Yahusha, it's the spirit of prophecy. And the spirit of prophecy, it's not some kind of deity being above your head. It's the influence on you. It's the inspiration. It's the driving force for you to prophesy, for the prophecy to come out, for prophecy to exist. It's he showed us how to live. He showed us to speak the truth boldly. And don't be afraid to speak it. Be wise. But he showed us that it's all about worshiping the Most High. That's why the verse 10 is like it is. That's why in the beginning it says he fell at his feet and he said, see, do not do it. That's what this verse is trying to tell you. Don't do that to nobody or nothing. Don't worship, bow down to nothing. Worship the Most High. That's what Yahusha came to show us. That's speaking the Most High's word. That's prophecy. That's that spirit. That's what we all need to be operating in. Just like a fighting spirit, we need the prophecy spirit. We all need to be shouting from the mountaintops and raising a banner and rejoicing. That's the witness of Yahusha. And I saw the heaven opened, and there was like, and notice the man of lawlessness, the lie we've gotten about the Messiah, the man they call Jesus. He's all about the holidays that are Babylon, Baal worship, that are evil, and just filthy, wicked things. I know it don't seem like that at first glance, but I assure you, when you get to the bottom of what they create and what they represent, it's the worst things ever. But he represents all that, and he's caused all these Christians to not even think about the Most High. He causes people to just think about him, about this watered down, twisted version of the Messiah as the creator now. And we don't think about the Most High. We don't care about what his name is. We don't care about the holiday. We don't care about nothing. He's the man of lawlessness. He has created mass lawlessness on a monumental scale. That's who he is. That's why it says when it's talking about him in 2 Thessalonians, it says it's the working of Satan. He's not really a man, but he is in the eyes of the world. He's the one that exalts himself against the prince of hosts. So, for the witness of Yahusha is the spirit of prophecy. We all need to be doing what Yahusha would do, what the Lamb would do, what the Word's telling you to do. And it's the truth. And it's the life. We all need to be reading and speaking, proclaiming loudly this word. And I saw the heaven opened, and there was a white horse, and he who sat on him was called Trustworthy and True. Trustworthy and true. And in righteousness he judges and fights. And his eyes were as a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns, having a name that had been written, which no one had perceived except himself, and having been dressed in a robe dipped in blood, and his name is called the Word of Yahuwah. Remember back when we first started a few videos back, I said that we would see what his name is. It says this is in Revelations 3:12. Let's go back and look at that real quick. You're going to want to see that. So we're right here. Let's go back to 3:12 real quick. He who overcomes, I shall make him a supporting post in the dwelling place of my mighty Most High. This is Yahusha speaking, the Word speaking. And he shall by no means go out. And I shall write on him, the Word shall write on anyone who overcomes. This is what the process looks like. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. If this don't happen to you, you're not overcoming. I'm sorry, but you best take heed if you want to overcome. The Word writes on that person the name of Yahuwah, our mighty Most High, and the name of the city of my mighty Most High, the renewed Jerusalem, which comes down out of the heaven from my mighty Most High, and my renewed name. It comes from his renewed name. Okay? The Word writes on your forehead. The Word writes on your forehead The name of the Most High and the name of the renewed Jerusalem. And it comes from his word. It should be easy to figure out. You should know what he's talking about, what he's getting at. And his name is the Word. So I wasn't lying. How, if the world, the majority of the believers, Christians that I've interacted with and I've heard and had all these conversations with, they believe because they got saved. Okay, so and they say they're saved. So what does that mean? That means that they went down to the altar maybe and someone asked them, do you accept Jesus Christ into your heart? And say, I mean, is that what happened? Or maybe they said Yahushua Messiah, if it's a Messianic church or whatever. And now they say they're a Christian and they go to church on Sunday and they pay their tithes and their bills and they pray. That's what being saved means? Do you see? And if that's the case, why do you call the Messiah the Word? Why is he called the Word? Why is he called the Lamb? You guys should have just called him once saved, always saved, right? You should have called him twice on Sunday and once on Wednesday. If all you have to do is that, if you think that's what he would do, if you think that's what picking up the steak means, what we're reading here about him, his name being the Word, it don't apply to you because I guess you're the exception. The only way to get home to that deliverance, and no, it's not your home. It's not. The only way to get to it, to sit down with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, in that place the Messiah went to prepare for us, the only way to get there, to the kingdom, to the reign, is found in the Word. It's the Word of Yahuwah. It's the only way. And if you've been here, you'll know that the Word tells us what we're doing. It tells us that we would return to where I am, to this land, in this day, all this stuff. That's what the Word does. That's following the Lamb. And the armies in the heaven, dressed in fine linen, white and clean, followed him on white horses. And out of his mouth goes a sharp sword, that with it he should smite the nations. And this is how he does it. And remember, even Messiah said, he said, I never came to judge anyone. The Word judges. Get that thought out of your head that when you die, you're going to wake up and you're going to be walking up in front and you're in a line and he's going to judge you like that. That's so ridiculous. No, the Word judges you. You know how? Because the Word tells you that there would be an imposter, this house of the thief, the house of the wrong house in the end. And that's the time we're in. And that your true home would be revealed and that you could find the truth to it and that you must return. Once this punishment had ended, that you can return, come in and come out and be blessed and enter into the reign. That's how you do it. That's what the Word says. That's how the Word judges. Because if you ain't read enough to see that that's what you got to do, you won't come. You'll stay in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and it's bye-bye. That's why. That's how the Word judges you. So he should smite the nations, and he shall shepherd them with a rod of iron, and he treads the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of El Shaddai, the mountaintops. And we know that in Ezekiel, I think chapter 42 or 43, it says that here is the boundaries of the house are all around the mountaintops. So it's going to be a circle, just like Noah's Ark, but it's going to be the city of Jerusalem. When you come, it'll be from all around the mountaintops. It's like a bowl, like I told you. So He treads the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of El Shaddai. If you come into the city to that bowl, you escape the fierceness and the wrath. And on his robe and on his thigh, he has a name written, Sovereign of Sovereigns and Master of Masters, the word of the Most High. And if it ain't on your thigh, then you ain't followed the Sovereign of Sovereigns. And I saw one messenger standing in the sun, and he cried with a loud voice, saying to all the birds that fly in mid-heaven. That means, you know what I'm taking that to mean, and I'm sure you will too if you really sit down and look at this. That's talking to you. You know, I've came back and I've came here and found all this information, and I've shared it with y'all. And there's some of you who have seen some truths, and maybe you've doubted me, and maybe you've forgotten about me, or maybe you just don't believe it, or you don't want to believe it, or whatever it is. But you've been hearing it and you've seen certain truths. You've been flying, and you're flying in mid-heaven, okay? You need to turn right now and go all the way. Go all in. Saying to all the birds that fly in mid-heaven, listen, come and gather together for the supper of the great, mighty, most high. It's telling you, come and gather to the supper to eat the flesh of sovereigns, and the flesh of commanders, and the flesh of strong ones, and the flesh of horses and those who sit on them, and on the flesh of all the people, free and slave, both small and great. See, the world, all this time, they've been thinking about birds flying in and eating after the Battle of Armageddon. See, that's not what it's talking about. What that's talking about is for you to come do what we're doing right here on All Esteem. Come do that with me. Come gather together here and feast on what we've been getting wrong. All that stuff, all those lies, you can see the truth in it. You can push all that nonsense and BS to the side that you once fell victim to, and find the truth and come out. That's what that's talking about. Come and let us do this. Understand who the image of the beast is. Understand where your home is. Understand what the tree of the knowledge of good and evil is. Understand what these code words mean and how we've been lied to. Understand who the man of lawlessness is. Understand why all these movies and songs were written, made, and books and all this stuff that I've been reading to you. All of it. Understand why the Twin Towers was made and why they fell, and understand all this stuff with me, so you ain't fell victim to it. That's what it means. That's what he's trying to get you to do. Come eat the flesh of all that, of the sovereigns, of them religions, of those things that restricted us. That's what the word religion means. It comes from the word, the same word boa, from like a boa constrictor, restrictor. It keeps you down. It bogs you down. And they never tell you, all they tell you is things to tickle your ear. And that's it. And once you see that, once you come out of that, you can start living. And I saw the beast and the sovereigns of the earth and their armies gathered together to fight him who sat on the horse and his army. And the beast was seized, and with him the false prophet, who worked signs in his presence, by which he had led astray those who received the mark of the beast and those who worshipped his image. The two were thrown alive into the lake of fire, burning with sulfur. So you know what that means? That's not literal either. That means when you realize where your true throne is and what the Messiah was truly saying, and that Jesus is the man of lawlessness, that the real Messiah and his word it doesn't match up with the man of lawlessness. When you see that since 1948, the fake state of Israel and the lie about our Messiah, about the word and about the Most High, by using the man they call Jesus and Israel are gonna, to you, whoever overcomes, like me, that's why he says that they'll be thrown in the lake of fire, burning with sulfur. The sulfur comes from the throne. You ain't never gonna think nothing good or pretty about them guys ever again. They're done. They're done. And the rest were killed with the sword which came from the mouth of him who sat on the horse, and all the birds were filled with their flesh. See, that backs up exactly what I just said. The rest were killed, and they were killed with the sword that came from the Messiah's mouth. It's the two-edged sword. It revealed it, just like the Scooby-Doo episode. It took the mask off of Jesus and revealed to you that's the man of lawlessness. And I'm not talking about the Messiah in Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. No, that's the Messiah. That's the Word. He told us to esteem and worship only the Most High. The lie that they give you, called Jesus Christ, it teaches you to blaspheme the Most High and His tent and those who are in heaven. And all the birds were filled with their flesh. Everything that's going into destruction, you're gonna gain by their example of what not to do so you can live. Now, I'm not going to read any of chapter 20 to you tonight because I've done ranted on long enough, but a lot of what I was trying to get across to you, it needs to be heard, and I'm sure I failed to mention a lot more. There was a lot more that I should have said, but I wanted to look at the verse of the day. And is it a coincidence that this is the verse today for the verse of the day, and we are where we are in Revelations, and we see where we are in the world, in the timeline right now? We understand, we all know. Are we in the end times? I'm asking you, are we in the end times? What's your answer? Do you believe we are? If you say yes, then okay. You agree then, don't you? We're right here. And look at the verse of the day. Genesis 2:3. And in the seventh day the Most High completed his work which he had done, and he rested on the seventh day from all his work which he had made. And the mighty Most High blessed the seventh day and set it apart, because on it he rested from all his work which the Most High in creating had made. Now, you need to understand, that's where we are. We're going into our rest. There's no rest without our home, our inheritance, all that. That's where we're entering. That's why on the movie Leave the World Behind, the daughter Rose, when you first see the swimming pool, she goes out to the swimming pool, and there's 6 chairs on the right side of the area shaped just like Utah. And she goes up to the last one. All that stuff means something. That we are about to enter into our rest. It's unbelievable that the world is refusing their rest. But if you are flying in mid-heaven, wink wink, if you're still holding on, if there's still some faith in there inside of you, and you still have some desire to actually do this thing and make it into the kingdom, come and let's reason together. I'm not saying that I got all the answers, but I'm telling you, the Most High will show you in his word lots of places where he says that the word I'm speaking would not come out until the latter days, and that you wouldn't have long. It's the voice of the bride, the voice of one yelling, the bridegroom cometh. And there's a time that lasts for. It doesn't last forever. That's why the Messiah told us that story about the 10 virgins. You need to be in this word with me, my friend. I don't care who you are. Come as you are. Don't hold me to no standards and compare me to anyone else you've ever heard, because I'm not nothing like probably anyone you've ever heard. I'm not going to tickle your ear. If anyone's been around here long enough, they'll tell you, like I always say, I don't tickle ears. I drop spinning roundhouse drop kick ears. It's gonna hurt, yes, but it's the truth. It ain't gonna be pretty. It ain't gonna tickle. It's not gonna be soft and sweet. I don't need it soft and sweet. I'll take mine straight up on the rocks.